Real-Time 1960s presents Evening Report, a complete roundup of today's news with Joe Rubenstein.
Good evening. In Washington, President Johnson kicks off Project Head Start. In West Berlin, Queen Elizabeth speaks out. In Vietnam, U.S. destroyers shell the Viet Cong. John Lindsay runs for mayor of New York, and Muhammad Ali defends his heavyweight title. Those are the headlines. The details after this message.
Have a ball in a valiant sedan. Get out, have fun in a valiant sedan. There's room for everyone and more in a valiant sedan.
Raise the roof in a valiant convertible. Get out and go in a valiant convertible. Feel the fresh breeze blow in a valiant convertible. Live it up in a valiant hardtop. Get out and swing in a valiant hardtop. Now's the time for a fling in a valiant hardtop.
And remember, nobody beats Valiant for value.
In Washington last Tuesday, President Johnson approved the first set of preschool summer guidance centers as part of Project Head Start. The primary goal of the project is to give culturally deprived and poverty-stricken children a better chance when they enter school next fall. It is being run by the Office of Economic Opportunity as part of the administration's war on poverty.
We've taken up the age-old challenge of poverty, and we don't intend to lose generations of our children to this enemy of the human race. This program, like so many others, will succeed in proportion as it is supported by voluntary assistance and understanding from all of our people. So we're going to need 1 million good neighbors, volunteers, who will give their time for a few hours each week, caring for these children, helping in 100 ways to draw out their potentials. We need housewives and co-eds. We need teachers and doctors. We need men and women of all walks and all interests to lend their talent and their warmth and their hands and their hearts. The bread that is cast upon these waters will surely return many thousandfold. And what a sense of achievement, and what great pride, and how happy that will make all of us who love America feel about this undertaking. Thank you.
Among those listening to Johnson's remarks were 4 5-year-old children who will attend Head Start centers this summer. Afterward, the youngsters shyly shook hands with the tall president and Mrs. Johnson, who is honorary chairman of the Head Start program. 2 announcements today indicated sharp escalation of U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. The first was that U.S. warships have been shelling land-based Viet Cong strongholds, and second, that U.S. Marines are now occupying rebel villages near Da Nang, where they've been guarding a critical air base. This afternoon, a U.S. Navy spokesman said 4 warships, part of the 7th Fleet operating off the Vietnam coast, have so far fired 370 rounds against targets in 3 coastal provinces. The shelling of communist ground targets was the first such action since the Korean War. The announcement was prompted by the death of U.S. Navy seaman Jimmy Stinnett of Cartersville, Virginia. Stinnett, stationed aboard the destroyer Somers, was killed Friday when a 5-inch gun exploded, blowing off the muzzle. The accident occurred as the warship was bombarding Viet Cong forces, which were attacking the town of Hai Long, 125 miles east of Saigon. The announcement that Marines were occupying villages near Da Nang was made today by Colonel David Clement of Jacksonville, North Carolina, commander of the 2nd Battalion of the 3rd Marines. Clement said patrols from his outfit had been drawing rifle fire every time they probed near the village of Lay May, 8 miles northwest of Da Nang. Permission was granted for the Marines, accompanied by South Vietnamese soldiers, to clean out the village on May 11th. 1 Marine was killed in the assault, and 17 men have since been wounded in skirmishing with the Viet Cong. Clement explained that clearing out a buffer zone around the airbase makes an attack on the base less likely. He also told newsmen that his forces have begun a quote-unquote people-to-people program among the Lei Mei villagers. He said Marine medics were treating village residents for various ailments, and bridges destroyed by the Viet Cong were being rebuilt to give the villagers access to markets. I'll have more news for you after this message.
Meet the Swinger, the incredible new Polaroid land camera for $19.95. It talks to you. Swing it up and take a look. Then turn the knob until it says yes, right in the viewfinder. Okay, you've got the right setting. 10 seconds later, you zip off a perfect black and white picture. The Swinger freezes action. It's always in focus. And it gives you beautiful close-ups. Incredible, especially at $19.95.
Hey, meet the Swinger, Polaroid Swinger. Meet the Swinger, Polaroid Swinger.
It's more than a camera. It's almost alive. It's only $19.95.
Swing it up, it says yes. Take the shot, count it down, zip it off. Hey, meet the Swinger, Polaroid Swinger. Meet the Swinger.
Here again, Joe Rubenstein.
Standing on the same spot where less than 2 years ago President Kennedy declared, "I am a Berliner," Queen Elizabeth today promised Berliners, quote, "the full support of the British government and people in the great tasks that lie ahead," unquote. The Queen received a rousing welcome from the crowd packed in front of West Berlin's City Hall in what is now called John F. Kennedy Platz.
Nowhere is the tragedy of a divided world made more evident than in this city. While other cities have enjoyed 20 years of peaceful redevelopment and progress, Berlin has never ceased to struggle for her existence.
She praised the people of West Berlin, an island surrounded by communist East Germany, for their fortitude and endurance.
The courage and persistence of the people and your tremendous achievements in spite of every difficulty are a glowing inspiration to the whole free world. I have seen some of your splendid new buildings, whole new quarters embodying the most modern concepts of planning and design. I have seen the vigorous signs of prosperity and progress in your streets. I have seen something, too, of the task of reconstruction that still remains to be done.
Before delivering her speech, the Queen visited Maifeld, a large venue that was the scene of some events of the 1936 Summer Olympics, at which time Berlin was the capital of Nazi Germany. There, the Queen reviewed the British Infantry Division now in Berlin, while 25,000 West Berliners seated in the stands cheered. Congressman John Lindsay, who represents Manhattan's Upper East Side Silk Stocking District, was named by acclamation tonight the Republican Party's candidate for mayor of New York City. He will oppose Democrat Robert Wagner, who is bidding for a fourth term as mayor. New York has not had a Republican mayor since Fiorello LaGuardia left office in 1946. Lindsay, a 43-year-old decorated Navy veteran of World War II, said he accepted the nomination with pride and urged the party to work hard because, quote, "this isn't an ordinary campaign because New York isn't an ordinary city," unquote. In a January speech to the executive clubs of Chicago titled The Republican Challenge, Lindsay, a member of the liberal wing of the party, said the GOP needed to, quote, "recapture the center," unquote, after the disastrous Goldwater campaign in last year's presidential election. Today, Mayor Wagner accused Lindsay of being, quote, "not so much interested in rebuilding New York City as he is in rebuilding the Republican Party," unquote. A potential third force in the mayoral race, the Conservative Party, said it would seek its own candidate to run against Lindsay and Wagner. Today, Kieran O'Doherty, a Conservative Party official, explained that Lindsay was apparently trying to, quote, "outbid Wagner for liberal support," unquote. Sports, right after this.
Warning from Dr. Sims. Be on the lookout for this.
Quack.
For he swindles arthritis sufferers out of millions of dollars a year through the sale of phony and often dangerous cures. Among the gimmicks he peddles are saltwater cures, radiation treatment, food fads, and pills that do little more than sugar pills. Dr. Sims says,
leave arthritis treatment to your physician and put the axe to arthritis quacks.
In Lewiston, Maine Tuesday night, Muhammad Ali retained the heavyweight crown when he knocked out Sonny Liston in the first round of their rematch at St. Dominic's Arena. It was the fastest knockout on record in a heavyweight title fight. However, many observers in the arena, across the country, and around the world suspected some sort of foul play. The punch, a short right hand, that sent Liston to the canvas for the first time in his career, did not appear to have knockout power. At the opening bell, Ali rushed forward and instantly connected with a right to Liston's head, then a left. Liston, with the crowd behind him, shook off the blows. The champion then danced around Liston, jabbing lightly and once more connecting with a solid right.
We note that early, halfway through this first round, that Sonny is shooting mostly, although he's going to the head now, mostly toward that body. You know the old story, you kill the body and the head might follow.
Ali then fired a short right, the knockout blow, and missed with a left hook as Liston collapsed slowly and rolled on the canvas.
Knockdown, ladies and gentlemen, a right-hand shot. A right-hand shot on the chin. Jersey Joe Walcott. Sonny cannot move.
Meanwhile, Ali danced around the prone former champion, waving at him and taunting him to get up and fight. As referee Jersey Joe Walcott tried to wave Ali to a neutral corner, he apparently lost the knockdown count. When Sonny finally rose to his feet, Walcott let the fighters continue as he checked with officials of the Maine Boxing Commission. Told that the count of 10 had been reached, Walcott stopped the fight and held up Ali's arm as the champion's entourage poured into the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, the timekeeper counted out Liston in 1 minute of the first round. 1 minute of the first round, the winner by a knockout. And still, the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali.
Ali later said that the winning blow was a quote-unquote anchor punch, the secret weapon of the late Jack Johnson, taught to Ali by Stepin Fetchit, the old-time stereotype comedian who is now a member of Ali's entourage. At his ringside press conference, Ali took a more compassionate tone toward Liston than he ever had before, while at the same time taking some shots at Floyd Patterson, whom Ali has nicknamed the Rabbit.
One thing I want to say, I'm not going to down Sonny Liston. He take it good. He's a good loser. I feel sorry for Sonny because you people now don't care much about him now that he has lost. I understand they want to tie up his purse and not give him no money. He needs money, and I'm going to have to go to see him and comfort him. I'm going to have to pay him a visit and talk with him. And as I told you and him, that after the fight, after the world and the press and the people turn him down, I'll still be on his side. And I have a few places I want to take him, and I have a lot to teach him. So everything that I have told you was right, as you can put it together and see. And next, we are after the Rabbit. He has said a lot of things that about me that might not let him go that long.
Howard Cosell of ABC Sports asked Ali if he would advise Liston to retire from boxing.
This fella making all this noise is Howard Cosell. No, I would not advise him to retire because a man naturally looks bad when he fight me. He'll knock out Floyd Patterson. The same punches he came at me with would have knocked out Floyd Patterson. And one more thing I want you fellas to know, as you heard Johnny Addy introduce me, I'm asking you in a nice way. The world is watching. And I want you to respect it, and I would like for you to call me by my name now, Muhammad Ali.
Another reporter asked Ali why he hadn't gone to a neutral corner after knocking Liston down.
Well, I was excited, and I wanted him to get up. See, I only got warmed up. I didn't get touched on my face, hardly, and I wanted to do a little boxing. I wanted some action.
When a reporter protested that Ali had broken the rules in that case, Ali fired back.
Well, I guess I'm not the champ then. I broke the rule, homie. Now what you gonna do? Have a rematch for that?
How soon do you want to fight Floyd?
What? I don't care where I went. He was down, wasn't he? These people are so hypocritical, and they wanted me to lose so bad, so many of them. And I just wanted to have my little way, too. You know I'm the king of the ring. I do what I want. I don't have to go no corner. We'll meet the rabbit as soon as we can get the contract on and get ready. I'll see you fellas. I must go now.
Thank you.
I had as the Beatles says, a hard day's work.
To many observers, seeing wasn't believing. Jimmy Cannon, sports writer for the New York Journal-American, had a ringside view of the action. In a special broadcast on ABC TV, Howard Cosell asked Cannon if he'd seen the punch that knocked out Liston or if there had been a punch at all.
Yes, there was a punch, Howard, but I didn't think it was hard enough to crush a grape. The ring lights were very hot. The only explanation I can give for the way Liston fell was that perhaps he was sunstruck by the lights. It was a hoax in the sense, I don't think it was a fix in the sense that money was passed, but I don't think that Liston tried as hard as he should. He just took a punch and got out of there. That's the way it looked to me. Afterwards, when he got up, he certainly wasn't unconscious. He seemed in possession of his faculties. He ducked about 5 or 6 right and left hands.
In Washington yesterday, Senator John Tower called for a congressional investigation of the fight, which the Texas Republican described as, quote, the nadir of a sport, unquote. Other lawmakers and boxing officials suggested a federal commission that might run boxing on a national level. And that, for this evening, completes our look at the latest news on this Thursday, May 27th, 1965. Thank you for joining us, and have a great day tomorrow.
This has been your Evening Report, a roundup of the latest news with Joe Rubenstein.